Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Minutes with Milo show in the dark. Let's shed some light on this subject. Oh, come on. It's brighter than that. Ooh, that looks better. Maybe. It's still my face, but it's well lit now. There we go. It is going out over the airwaves. Back and forth, back and forth. Turn that off. We'll crank this up. All right. So, welcome to my studio. I'm gonna try something tonight. Everywhere, whenever I look at these videos and look at them after they're live, and then now when I'm seeing it on the screen, I notice this camera, and I think always done this, zooms in and out, tries to focus. So I kind of think it's trying to figure out if it wants to be my backdrop or if it wants to be me. So I thought maybe I'd scoot back, lean back, way back, and see if it would focus on my face or the rest of it. Or I know if I get up in here, which I don't think anybody really wants, right? So we move back to here and let's see if it'll stabilize. So if you wonder why, this is why I'm going to be doing that. So it's live, and then later it'll be on YouTube. You're watching it live. Leave me a comment. Looks like it's just me out there right now. That's fine. If you watch it later, that's fine. Leave me a comment. Anybody that's watched any of these live or after it's stored out on YouTube, here's the same old thing at the very beginning. Like, subscribe, leave me a comment. Okay. Uh, Try to get this to be like a talk show. Sometimes it works out. Most of the time it's me talking to the phone, which I hope somebody's out there watching it, so I'm just not talking to the phone. So try to think about and make it happen that you get involved with while it's live, and then you can chat or even come online or send me an email. I'll get you on the video. We talk about just about anything and everything on here. Try to keep it clean, non-political, have fun. Okay? Other than that, pretty much anything. So, with that in mind, tonight it is going to be anything. Because I didn't really come up with a topic. I mean, there were so many things that I could have talked about that I didn't talk about. So, it's just going to be kind of off the cuff, freehand, you know, just to see what's going on. Now, if I have to touch the mouse, I have to come in here. I'll get up real close so it'll focus on me. Okay, now we're scooting back. So in instances like this, and I don't have really anything particular to talk about, I just pick something, open topic. And sometimes I like to fall back to things that I like to do. And one of the things I like to do is, well, let's say I'm mowing the yard. I like to listen to shows or music while I'm riding the lawnmower or bush hogging or doing whatever. So one of the things I like to listen to is the Joe Rogan Experience. Now, I didn't know much about Joe Rogan except I used to see him on a show called Fear Factor. And that was an interesting show. I don't know how many shows there were, how many seasons there were. It was really short, 1 or 2 seasons. But they took these contestants and they would put them in these crazy circumstances. And they would see how far people would go to try to win money. And some of it was just downright mean that they would do and play upon your fears, being locked in a cabinet with rats running around or putting you in a casket kind of deal with all these live roaches or something running or jumping off of a skid of a helicopter on a bungee cord or something swinging, under the helicopter. It's all kinds of crazy stuff that they would do. But anyway, he was the host, and I don't know how he got to be the host. Supposedly, before that, and still, he's a comedian, stand-up comedian. He was on a TV show. Uh, he was I don't know if he was an MMA fighter. I knew he was in judo, judo, and he competed like on state levels and tournaments and things like that. Uh, so he's done quite a bit of things, and now he's a MMA mixed martial arts, one of the big uh, ringside people. Call him an announcer or commentator, whatever. But he does that, and he does one of the most viewed podcasts in the world. And it's strange. People call this a podcast. I don't really call it a podcast. I guess it could be. I actually saw it on YouTube where I don't know, maybe convert these to podcasts. I'm going to check into it. But to me, a podcast is something that you can listen to while you're mowing the yard or, you know, doing other kind of, I won't say mindless activities, but, something that doesn't require a whole lot of concentration out of the person that's, doing them. So mowing the yards is just a good example. You can listen to podcasts, you listen to music, that kind of stuff. So, but it is on, if you go to Spotify, that's where I do it, and you look at podcasts, you type in Joe Rogan Experience, it's actually a video. It's like, just like what I'm doing now. But it's all recorded and they take that and, you can listen to it. But it's on Spotify or wherever you like to get your podcasts. But the reason I bring that up is because lately I've been doing quite a bit of stuff. It's summertime, outside. I had to work on my truck, do all kinds of different things. So I'm listening to these. I finally got some semi decent, and by semi decent earbuds, I'm talking about ones that run more than 25 minutes before you have to take them out and recharge them. So I've listened to, his podcast. And a lot of them lately that I've picked, and I don't listen to them just, let it just to go to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. I like to look and see his list of guests or who a guest is going to be and what they do and see if I can find anything interesting. But the ones I've listened to past couple of weeks are about document uh, doc documents. No, uh, I can't pronounce it. Documentaries, documentaries. There it is. See, in my brain, it was going documentaries, not documentaries. Jeez, heavens, oh Pete, heavens to Murgatroyd. Have you ever heard that one? That's an old cartoon reference. Heavens to Murgatroyd. Wish I could remember who said it. Uh, in my brain, it's still saying the documentaries. 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 They've all been about, lately, documentaries made by documentarians. But, and it's kind of interesting. Uh, Tonight I was listening to it. I was mowing before I came up here, and I didn't listen to the whole thing. His things are really long. I think mine are long at 50 minutes. Man, sometimes his go on for 2, 3 hours. He's talking to these people, but he does it in a studio, and that's kind of where I came up, not with the new idea, but I thought, well, why not just do that virtually? Because now, I can put in guests. If you watched any of these other videos that I've put out, live streams, copies of them, archives of them. I've had guests on and 3 and 4 guests and everything. So, you can do that. But he sits in the studio. He's got a real nice setup. It's in Texas. And he'll put people in and they sit across the table from each other and, just have a normal conversation. That's kind of what I was looking at doing, was just having normal conversations with a topic, you know, with people virtually. And then people could tune in, watch it, or watch it on YouTube. Anyway, so the one I listened to tonight was about nuclear energy and how people are so dead set or afraid of nuclear energy, even though it's statistically very safe as energy. And the person that he was talking to is a well-known uh, movie producer, director. And for the life of me right now, I cannot remember his name. So I'm just going to jump on and look at my uh, Spotify. Oliver Stone. So he was talking to Oliver Stone. And apparently Oliver Stone uh, has done like 27 feature films and 10 or 11 documentaries. I didn't know that. But anyway, he did one on nuclear energy because he's a real believer that nuclear energy is what we need to do as an alternative Platoon. Robert, thank you very much. He made the movie Platoon. I've seen that. And he's done a lot of other ones. I just can't, remember which ones, but I didn't know he did documentaries. Uh, but he's an advocate for bringing back, not that it's really gone away. There's still, I think he said like 70 or 90 operating nuclear reactors in the United States that generate electricity, not including the ones like that are on submarines or ships. So anyway, Joe Rogan Experience. Uh, this one about the nuclear energy. There was one the other day about chimpanzees. One of the largest groups of chimpanzees has been studied by scientists for over 30 years. And this group of filmmakers went in and did a 4-part series on Netflix about, I don't know what the name of it is, the Chimp World or Chimpanzees Unite. I don't know. It's on Netflix. I wish I could remember the name of it. But he talked to this guy about, this guy wasn't a scientist. He was one of the filmmakers, director. My beard's doing weird stuff. Quail's here. Yeah, Platoon was a cool movie. Uh, so and that was interesting to learn about, this study in the chimps and this big group and how these chimpanzees live in a group of almost well over 100 chimpanzees. And some of the things they do, they patrol their area, their domain. So the chimps will just get up and quietly go to the boundaries, wherever those might be, and kind of check, make sure nobody's encroaching on them, not other, none other group or anything like that. They hunt. Apparently, this group of chimps hunt, kill, and eat monkeys, which is kind of a weird concept because, yeah, they're, I won't say closely related, but chimps and monkeys, pretty close. Yeah, I'm not going to argue semantics or, whatever. But anyway, it's just, you know, different to think that chimpanzees organize hunts. And this isn't by chance. They do this and they organize it and go out and kill and eat monkeys. Now, they don't cook them. I mean, they're chimps. They eat their stuff raw. They don't have knives to cut them up. So think about this. They're killing them with their bare hands and eating them just like a hyena would. Of course, a little better because they have opposing thumbs and they can, eat it that way. But you would think that they were just vegetarians or whatever. But they do hunt and kill and eat monkeys. And apparently, how the meat is divided up is like a political, all about the hierarchy. And the guy making the documentary had said that in this one instance, a female got a bigger piece of the monkey than one of the dominant males. And the male threw a fit about the being put below this female monkey and attacked her, beat her up. It was, you know, it's a very social pecking order, apparently, and it's political game. Who's the alpha? They don't stay alpha all the time. There's challengers, all this other kind of stuff. So it's really weird. That was a documentary that I learned about. The other one, the first one I was reading about or listening to, was a guy that does documents. Caught my eye here about my network traffic. Kind of trying to monitor some of this stuff. I don't know what I'm looking at. It's just the transmit lines down here, or the receive lines down here, the transmit lines up here, which makes sense. And it's bouncing up and down. I was just trying to get. Looks like my average is right now 200. Oh, not 200. 2 point something. 2.14 megabits per second. So it's cranking it out. I hope it's coming through okay on YouTube. That's been one of the things. That's one of the reasons I've got that monitor, is just kind of get an idea where if my network's breaking down. So the first one, he talked about this guy that was making documentaries on space or alien encounters. Not really per se encounters, but yes, encounters. And I actually watched this one in, I think it was Brazil, someplace in Brazil, some years back, like in 2011, something like that, 2010. Supposedly there was a alien craft crashed in Brazil, and there was actually beings that came out of the ship, and one of them was dead, one of them was alive. They captured one. This guy actually put his hands on one and carried it to the hospital. There's supposedly X-rays made. This guy that had contact with it a couple of weeks later developed this never seen before bacterial infection and died. And there's 3 girls as a witness. All these townspeople were witnesses. All this stuff. So, Joe Rogan experiences that he talks about all kinds of things. But that's what I found interesting lately is I won't say on this kick, but he has interviewed these people that are doing, making documentaries on these subjects. They're always kind of crazy. Now he'll do, like I said, I didn't know much about him, but apparently he moved to Texas. He's getting pretty wealthy because he opened his own called the Mothership because he's really into aliens. He's 100% believer that there are aliens out there. He's just not convinced that they've come to Earth. But his comedy shop, store, destination, whatever you want to call it, club, is called the Mothership. And so apparently he has been, and it still is, a big stand-up comedian. And so he interviews a lot of comedians. He interviews a lot of mixed martial arts participants, past, present, maybe even future. Just all kinds of different people. I've learned lots of crazy stuff from listening to his podcast. And I would like to sit down and maybe watch one, but like I said, it's a TV show, man. It's like 2-3 hours. Of course, you don't have to watch it all at once. You stop and go. But he's a big proponent of legalized marijuana. He smokes marijuana on the show, talks about marijuana, brandy, hunting, all kinds of different things. Hallucinogens. He does the cold plunges. He does those things. He does all kinds of stuff. Does all kinds of crazy stuff. Does those IV drips. Does just you name it. He can talk about it or has seen it or talked to somebody that does it. So, like I said, didn't have a topic. That just popped into my brain. But that's where I get some ideas. Some of the things I like to talk about is from, shows that he's put on. And, he gives you names and people and what is that place in Alaska, the Boneyard in Alaska. He interviewed this guy that is right now, as far as I know, the largest private landowner in Alaska. And I think, well, what's the big deal about that? Well, a lot of Alaska is government owned. Not as much as Nevada, but a lot of it. So this guy was a gold miner. Started out as he had a really interesting story. For some reason, he started out when he didn't know what he was going to do before college or something anyway. And he makes a trip to Alaska and starts working for this shipper, doing this, that, or another thing. Meets another fella. They get into shipping business and they get tied up with the government by shipping things to outposts. And since it's government, it's all crazy stuff. So they would bring in a truckload of something and they wouldn't have to touch it again because it was government. And they would just sit there and watch these other guys just unload all this cargo and they just go back. They'd run to the airport and get another load, bring it back. The other guys would unload it and they'd go to the airport and get another load. Well, on both ends, It was like the government was loading and unloading everything. Only thing they had to do is get in the truck, drive it here, and come back. So, and they had made tons of money because it's Alaska. Everything has to be flown in, and then hauled there by boat or truck or whatever. So they made tons of money doing that. Then he got into gold mining. Then he got into having land that other gold miners would prospect off of, and then of course he gets a piece of the pie. So he works his way up and ends up buying this company, the whole company that owned, that's a stupid amount in Alaska, I guess. I can't remember how many thousands of acres that this company had bought up, piece at a time, all these claims, and privatized it, and had been working it and doing different things with it. Like he owned was it a was it a paddle boat or a dredge? I think it was a gold dredge that was pretty much landlocked in this pond. And so he opened it as a riverboat gambling thing and made tons of money with it and then sold that. So he was kind of one of these guys that comes across and goes, I think I can make that work. And he makes it work and then sells it off. But he ended up buying this company and it had the deeds and everything, just so much land. And in one area, he does hydro mining where they squirt high pressure water into the hillside and see if they get gold out of it. Well, he was doing that one day on this piece of property and found a bone, a jawbone of an animal that wasn't supposed to exist in Alaska. And the next thing you know, he's pulling up huge tusks and stuff. And I think I did talk about this on one of the other maybe open topic nights. But, that was all from the Joe Rogan experience too. But Boneyard in Alaska, I follow it on Instagram, and it's really interesting because they'll pull tusks out, molars out from woolly mammoths, and all this other kind of stuff. And they're just blowing it out of the ground with water hose, and water hose the size of my head, but still yet, very interesting. So, podcasts, Joe Rogan experience, it's pretty interesting. It's really interesting. Just go through and pick out. He's got like 1,000 and I think almost 2,000. I think it's into 1985, 1,985 shows. And I went back one time. I went back to like the first couple, and it was him and this other guy sitting on the couch getting stoned. Oh, how does this work? Are we talking to anybody out there? Hey, is this thing on? That kind of stuff. It was really kind of crazy and comical what they get out there. And he said that's the way it started. Him and his buddies getting high, hanging out, talking about crazy stuff. And then he'd invite other people in and get them high and then talk about crazy stuff. And so, then it was first on YouTube and then they started clamping down on him. And he said, the heck with that. And went to Spotify, which they don't care. Apparently, he just pretty much, he produces his own show and they're just a platform that people can go, one of the platforms people can go and watch it or listen to it. I listen to it. So anyway, but one of the other things that I kind of like to do a lot is peruse the Facebook marketplace. Now we've done this before, and I just find it very interesting. I know we've talked about this, and if you've missed it, then I'll just go over it again. But people that have heard it, there's only two of them in here, and they're probably not really listening. They're probably watching TV and got this on because they're really nice fellers, and they just turn it on so I can have viewers to pretend to chat at. So let's see. Let me set this up. But anyway, I like to go through Marketplace and just look at stuff, and it blows my mind. Before Marketplace, it was Craigslist. And then, of course, like anything else, Craigslist had to make money. It blew my mind when it first came out there. I didn't see how he was making money. Apparently, he wasn't making a lot. So now that he charges to, I don't know, last time I put a car out. Now, you put parts out there, but if you advertise a car for sale, then he charges you. And I mean, I paid, put a car or two out there. Did it work? Not really, but you know, every once in a while I'll still go to Craigslist because there are people that will pay the $5 or whatever because there's still people that go there. But Marketplace, they're not making money off the ads. They're making money off of what you view, and then they sell what you view to advertisers. And the next thing you know, you're looking at, getting advertisement for gumball machines or whatever it is that you've been looking at, chimpanzee diapers. I don't know. How to floss your chimpanzee's teeth. So Clell says he's buying boots off of Marketplace. That's I'm trying to look for electrical wire in the metal sheathing. I think it's BX cable or something, BX wiring. Anyway, to put in my barn. Work boots, nothing fancy. Yeah, fancy. I think Robert's on call. Are you on call? Where are we? There it is. Add it to the stream. I'm using a different browser tonight. I'm using, yep. Oh well. You got a whole week. It'll be all right. So I'm using, what am I? I'm using Firefox. I've gone back to Firefox. I had been using, and I'm still using it. I've got one of those cleaners, CCleaner, and they have a privacy uh, browser, and I like it. Excuse me, but I am finding out that because it is privacy, and it tries to protect you, there are certain things that it won't allow you to do, and I'm just finding out some of these things. So I'm trying StreamYard tonight in Mozilla, and it seems to be working pretty good. So let's see. I guess you can see my screen now. Here's see if I can put that up there. That's my router that I'm going through right now. And I've got it hooked just right here. That's what I was monitoring the traffic with. So let's see. I love cars. 10 roof shingles. Hmm. So I guess that's where they're on the house. Let's see. 1870s, disassemble the cabin. We're going to sell in parts, entire roof worth of these antique shingles. Additionally, some mantle boards, sheets, door frames, etc. See, that would be a good gig to get into, but you gotta see. Here's your problem. You can see it here. Where's he storing this stuff? You know, he's got to have it protected. If it, you know, it's got to be protected. But I think that's very interesting. My dad used to take apart and dismantle. Uh, he dismantled a couple of cabins, small houses, got cherry wood out of it and all that stuff. Oh, he was so happy with that stuff. But it was interesting to go there and look. A recumbent e-trike. All right, so a recumbent is one of those you kind of like sit down in and do your deal that way. Uh, Elf. I mean, that's kind of cool. You know what that looks like? It looks like one of those things that people pull behind their bicycles for their kids. But this is electric. Okay. I will not respond to, is this still available? Why not, dude? I know it's a pain in the butt, but sometimes those are legit. Or sometimes you get the people that say, oh, I'm sorry, that was a mistake. My bad. And, you know, I don't understand. Mint condition, very low mileage, 350 miles. Wow. Elf Solo by Organic Transit. Now, I'll say it. I've said it before. If you lived in town, if you lived down, you know, in Kingsport or Johnson City, and you didn't need to be out where, you know, there was work traffic and afternoon traffic and all, something like this would be perfect. I mean, you know, you drive into town, drive to someplace, but you get in mixing with heavy traffic in one of these things, and it's just, in my opinion, it's just not safe enough. Just not safe. What is safe in traffic? It's something like this. Yeah, man. 71 F350. To go. Got a work bed on it. Oh, it comes with its own heater. Right there. Shoot, yeah, man. You can't beat that. $1,000. Union, Mississippi. What in the world have I got this thing set to? Please repost. Does not run. Scotty Petty. Union, Mississippi. Got a little crusties down in here. That's all right. That's pretty cool. That'd be safe in traffic. I'm digging this thing. It's a go-kart, but I mean, that's still kind of cool. All right, Clell, here you go. Red velvet prom dress. Nothing be finer to go to the prom in this red velvet, this red velvet prom dress. Yeah. Here could be your pumpkin chariot to take you to the prom. 50 Chevrolet truck. Dude. It's on an S10 frame. The 50 Chevy cab, S10 frame with a 48 International bed. Maybe that's why it doesn't fit so well. Boy, that thing is just laid together. Take a lot of welding and stuff to get that together. All right, people. I had one of these, except my forks were blue and they matched. I rode the wheels off that thing. Oh, Clell wants the pacer. You can haul me and Ryan around. Yep, in that F350. Who's been chopped? The pacer or the red velvet dress? But I had one of these things. Gas tank was under the seat. 3-speed, automatic, no clutch. Automatic wasn't really what it was. I mean, you know, you just supposed to let off the gas and hit the shifter and it go to the next gear. I loved that thing. I jumped it, thought I'd killed myself. Knocked the headlight out. I jumped my driveway. We had this driveway. They built it through what we used to call the bottom, from one little hill to the next. It wasn't a little hill, but anyway. So they had to fill in. There was a drainage pipe big enough that I could almost walk through it standing up. That's how big this thing was. Because they had to take up so much area. And then they just filled dirt on top of it. Well, it was ramped on this side and ramped on the other side. And I got brave. I would and land on the driveway and then down the other side. I got brave one time. I went and went all the way across the driveway. Well, I'm not a daggone MX. Look what I was riding. I wasn't a motocross dude. I wore a helmet because I had a cool, sparkly American flag helmet. But when I landed on the other side, I was just about nosed over. You know, I didn't lean back. I didn't land on the back wheel. I didn't know. It scared the pee far out of me. Landed on the nose. The forks compressed so hard, the headlight popped out of the bucket and was boom, 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 with on its wires. Scared me to death. Got the headlight in back there and never jumped that stupid thing again, buddy. No siree. But a friend of mine had the 50cc version of this, and it was a little old maroon, and it had like a little bubble tank here. This one, like I said, the gas tank was under the seat. And these things, you could twist them, and the handlebars that were here, they would fold down out of the way, and you could haul this thing in a station wagon, man. It was really cool. How much they want? $1,300 for that thing, man. Look at that. Yep, burnt my leg, wore shorts, riding in shorts. Never riding in shorts, boys and girls. Burnt the far on my leg on that thing. Let's look at Robert. Look at his pacer. Look at the pacer. Uh-oh. Oh, oh. This is not your everyday kind of pacer, is it? What that kid ain't in the car seat? That kid, look at that. Put that kid in the car seat. First 500 takes it. Where is La Center? Is that WA? Is that Washington? Well, shoot, yeah, it is. Oh, what have I got these? I don't know what my. Yeah, it says within 100 miles of Bristol. Dude, I don't know who's calculating it. I saw this. This is cool. Coffee table, John Wayne. Custom made, one of a kind, only the ones in the world. Well, not now that I've seen the picture. I could just make me another one just like that. Secret's not a secret if you tell one person. There's an F100. What is a Merc we buy? Should we? I guess we should. Used fare within 15 miles one way of Johnson City only. What is it? What is a Merc we buy? If this is one of those I buy junk cars, this is probably one of the silliest ones I've seen that we buy junk cars. Merc we buy. $200. So these people that buy these, you see them, we buy junk cars. Well, I don't know what scrap price is, but they've got to be buying them for like $75 because they got to go haul them and then haul them from your place, more than likely to the scrap yard, right? So, even if it's a junk car, that could be even worse. You got to dig it out of the forest. You got to pull it out of the yard. Yeah, they can't be saying, they're not giving really any money. It's just like people wanting to get crap out of their yard. They're paying $75 for it. They're probably paying almost break even money. Because, I mean, it's a couple of $100, I think, is about all you can get for them now, right? If that much. Let's see. What else we got? Auto parts. 30 grand. Let's see what this Flexi bus does. Oh, man. I love those style of buses. That's pretty cool. Conversion by custom coach. Interesting setup. I'd like to know when the conversion was done. Bus conversion custom coach done in the late 60s. Started a redo 7 years ago. Changed the engine to a 5.9 Cummins diesel with automatic. I like that rear upholstery, even though it looks like it should be in the back of a 55 Chevy instead of your RV. I mean, who puts vinyl in their camper? It's all about cloth and comfort. I do like it though. There's two of them. Ooh, look at that one back there in the back. This dude's in Morristown. That's pretty cool. 12.5. Supposedly this is a complete car. This thing was super solid and was taken apart and painted over 15 years ago. 12.5. It talks about having a daggone 4-speed and a 390. But I don't see that stuff in the pictures. Oh my God. Now, I say that because I'm not a collector. But if it's numbers matching, there's probably somebody out there that'll pay that. I don't know. 68 Mustang California Special. Parts. 390S code engine, 4-speed. Fastback. That's not a fastback. I wouldn't want to go to Bay Street. You never, can you imagine trying to take that thing down that little street? All kinds of stuff out there. Yard art, $3,000 yard art. Well, look at that. Heck yeah, wooden spoke wheels. 47 Ford, $1,500. He wants $3,000 for that. We're in Michigan. How come it's giving me stuff out of Michigan? Did it say that? Oh, sponsored. Oh boy. No, just that one ad sponsored. The rest of this is miscellaneous. 67 Dodge Charger. The back seats in these things, of course you can't see it here, they're super cool. They're like, they wrap around and then have this center console. So they're like, oh, I like this ad right here. So, but yeah, with the center console, just like front seat, like bucket seat in the back. So he wants $9,000 here at the ad. But if you look down in here, I wish I could zoom in on this. It says 8,500 on the piece of paper right there. Watch your pictures, boys and girls. Watch your pictures. Baird Beaver tractor. Really? Condition antique. I'm just not feeling it. $2,100 for that? Sorry, Charlie, I am just not feeling it. Huh. Baird Beaver. Interesting. There's your big old milling machine. You see, some of these things are cheap. Could you imagine though, 220 single phase can load on your truck or trailer. So it's originally 223 phase, and they can convert it for you to the thing. My God. That's a big old machine. How would you ever get it off your trailer? Sunbird, 80 horsepower tiller. All right, so he's selling these side steps here for $200. That's all. It's all aluminum kind. Look at what it comes up underneath the front fender. That's pretty cool. Nice wagon. That's in Johnson City. Robert needs to jump all over that. Shoot yeah, man. Charlie Reed. Set you up nice in that thing. Wow. Cover up the plate, buddy. Got a trailer hitch. Nice wheels. Comes with a cell phone. Pimping. Calling you hoes. I do like those wagons though. All kidding aside. I think they made one of the wheel arches are open more. Is that a big old whoopie-doo down the side, or is that just maybe some kind of, he don't have, I don't, give me a little more details, buddy. Is it a 305s, is it the 350s, is it the LT1, what is it? I can't really tell. I think it's just a reflection along the side instead of a boo-boo. I think that's a reflection. I don't think it's a boo-boo. Hey, boo-boo. Forward in. There's Liquid Death. Oh, copper steel's $1. Now there's something that you see. All right, so this guy's making these things. Fully functional, sold as displays only. 18 gauge, 32 ounce Paul Revere copper is standard on all the steels we build. For steels 50 gallons and larger, only use Oatley's lead-free silver wire solder and lead-free flux on our soldered steels. So what kind of price? What kind of price? What do you think something like that would cost you? We're supposed to call Brian or text Brian for a quote. Huh, that's pretty cool. Even if you never made a batch. Look at that. Dang. Oh, got a Mustang 2 sitting back there. Now, that's cool. Just have one sitting in your house that looked like that. Even if you just pumped water through it, that'd be like really super cool. What size of jar is that? Plus, it's not big. Right here's an outlet on the wall. So, I mean, it's kind of tidy. Those are quart jars, I guess. Hmm. Well, he's getting the copper barrels for all this stuff. Nobody's hand making stuff like this. That is really cool. That's a good size one there on the end. Oh, it's all daisy chained. Hmm. I think that's my favorite. I think that one's my favorite. Blue Mustang 2. All right, well, I chit-chatted enough. My open topic was just a couple of topics. So if you ever get tired and want to listen to something else, look up the Joe Rogan Experience and just go through. And they're all sequentially numbered. So I was trying to think of the one. I think I don't know. For some reason, 1,975 stands out in my mind as being one that was okay. Either that or 79. I can't remember. Were okay to listen to. But, you know, it's interesting. to listen to him talk and the people tell their stories and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes it's a little much. Sometimes it's over the top. But for the most part, it's not bad. So anyway, if you tuned in later, you tuned in at the beginning, just thanks for tuning in, listening, leave me a comment. Like I said, like to try to get back into getting people to call in or even come on. I'm going to get Clell to call back in one day. We're going to talk about something silly or something. One day he's going to get a camera and you can see his pretty face on screen. So me and the boys got to get the band back together at some point, I bet. We haven't done that in a long time. Right, Robert? Maybe you can make us up a song. Maybe that's what we could do, is we could each come up with a verse of a song and then have a fellow, or not a fellow, the only musician in the group, put a tune to it. He owes us some singing. But anyway, I appreciate everybody coming, listening, watching. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, tell your friends. I'm up to 84 subscribers. That's really cool. And maybe one day we'll get 85, 95, 100. 2 bits, 4 bits, 6 bits, $1. All that good stuff. Things that rhyme. I'd be willing to try. Get on screen. Oh, to write a verse. You could just plagiarize something. You could use AI. Ooh. I'm afraid AI is like a Ouija board though. Once you just dabble in it, once you just ask your question and everything, the next thing you know, the devil comes into your home, takes over your life, and you go straight to hell. Purgatory. Don't be messing with no AI. Come in and take over your world. But anyway, thanks everybody. And Thursday at 9, have another show. See what's going on then. And for some reason now, I don't know. I got to look into more of this network analysis stuff here. Instead of being like this far apart, now they're only like that far apart. Transmit and receive. But anyway, all right, everybody. Thanks again. Bye-bye. Say bye.